brought to my attention, we do have an addition to the agenda, and it is just the inclusion of the committee member appointment document that was not attached to the package that was circulated. So we will add that to the package. I do not believe we need any kind of a motion to do that.
No, that would be the agenda would be updated.
Okay,
Do you want the agenda moved as amended?
yes, please.
Done.
Done. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. The minutes were circulated from our last meeting, this March 13th. Has anybody spotted anything that needs attention? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes as presented.
I'll move.
Check. All in favor? Carried. Old business, none. New business, excuse me, development permit application 2024-61, lot 19, block 1, plan 0627602. Discretionary use, change of purpose, indoor participation recreation facility is the document. It has been attached to our agenda. So I believe there's a couple things involved here, change of purpose and the variance on the paved parking at the front. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So he's got 9 stalls in the back. Is
Yes,
that they're gonna use?
Yeah, so based on our assessment, the total number of parking slots required for the operation of the gym is 9.
Right?
Or at least the space at the back can conveniently have 10 parking stops.
Does anybody have any comments, questions, or?
So the back is concrete paved,
No,
or is, oh, the whole thing's gravel?
the whole thing is.
It's just that.
But it's not the back that is the concern, right? Typically, it's if they're gonna park in those couple spaces in the front of the building, theoretically, that should be paved, right?
Yes,
But he has enough spaces in the back that they don't need to use those front ones if they choose not to, right?
yes, so ideally, it should not, ideally, if there is no, because he submitted a site plan that include parking at the front, that's why we're asking for variance to the parking requirement. But the parking stall at the back can conveniently accommodate his
Right.
business.
Right.
So, but because he submitted a site plan showing that there will be parking at the front, that's why we're asking for variance.
So, go ahead. So is the main entrance going to be closer to the front or the back? Like, I understand that they are available in the back, but is that what's likely to happen, is the parking at the back? Or at the front because it's more convenient for people going inside?
And human
So-
nature is people will probably park in front.
That's my curiosity then.
Even though they're going to the gym to work out, it's too far to walk.
I mean, we put the gym at the Baytex on the main floor, so.
Again, the other thing that we should keep in mind here is this is existing and they have been using it as it has been for a couple of years anyway, if not longer. Right?
A year at this point.
Yeah.
And is it the stalls mostly at the back that are in use? Like,
I don't know.
do we know? Sorry.
At this point, I don't think they have been providing parking at the back.
Okay,
This is gonna be a condition of this permit to meet the parking requirement.
Done.
So a couple of questions. One, if we're doing this and we're going to have them do parking at the back, and we see that the majority of the parking is at the front because of convenience or distance or whatever, or human behavior or what you call it. Is there any mulligans that are available to sort of say, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing here, the parking's supposed to be at the back and they're parking at the front? And the other question I have, which is probably maybe even more important, is the parking in this lot similar or in character to the parking available on all of the other developments that are around it? Because if it is, then I'm not sure how much of an issue it really is, other than one on paper. So that would be my first, actually, answer that one first. Is the parking, the way people are parking there going to be fairly consistent with what people are doing in that area generally? Like, are the majority of properties there not paved and gravel, and people park where they can to do what they want to do once they get there?
Wanna try and take it?
It's a bit of both.
The parking that's available today, so this site is part of a larger property.
Right.
That property is not paved. The majority of the properties in this area are paved, the parking on the front. But the parking on for this site, so not the entire parcel, but the portion of the parcel that is relevant to this development permit, there is limited parking in front, so you can't, a lot of the parking in that area is, the parking is 90 degrees to the building.
Right.
At this site, there is a curb, so the maximum number of cars you could get in front of this building is 2. It's not deep enough.
Okay. Okay,
So they'd be part,
Okay.
You might get 3 if you park in front.
okay, so then additionally, the purpose of having the pavement and the purpose of the zoning requirement is to not have dirt coming through onto the roadway, et cetera, or into the other areas. With the winters we have up here and the muck and mire that we have up here, is that going to be an issue to neighbors, to other people in the area?
With the parking at the back or at the front?
Well, if it's at the back, they
Yeah.
still have to drive to the front to enter and exit, am I correct?
They
yeah.
do. The requirement in the industrial district is only for the paving in the front yard, not the back, which is why it's not a requirement of we're not having a conversation about a variance to the back parking, because the
That would
paving
be
is not
normal.
required there. Yeah,
But would-
in the industrial district specifically. But one of the recommendations for conditions is that the off-street parking is maintained to minimize the carrying of dirt or other foreign matter off or onto 102nd F. So if we do see that there is an issue, including this condition gives us a stronger footing for some enforcement when we have a bylaw enforcement conversation, if we were to have a bylaw enforcement conversation.
So your base is kind of covered on that regard.
That was the intent of that condition.
Can I ask a further?
Go ahead.
So when you say most of the other sites, you're talking specifically on that side of 80, right? Because the other side of 80, if lots of those sites are actually gravel.
That my reference to the area was basically between the Saddleback neighborhood and 80th Street, where you kind of hit the commercial. Yeah, so that block of the industrial area is majority paved, but not 100%.
Any other questions for administration or concerns?
from an operations perspective. Is the guy who has the team out on the street sweepers, right? From an operations perspective, is the guy who has operations staff out in the street sweepers right now. If we were having issues, there's a couple of construction yards up there that have heavy equipment coming in and out of those yards. I would be more likely to have concerns on those properties. I would guess, and I don't think we've had anything egregious where we've been like, hey, like this is problematic.
So can I read the recommendation? Does that work for everybody? You would like that motion?
I would, sorry, reading the recommendation, I would only add, please include the potential conditions.
Including potential conditions.
Yeah.
Okay. So I move that the MPC approved development permit number 2024-61 for change of use to an outdoor participation recreation service use gym and grant variance to the hard surfacing requirement of the land use bylaw, along with potential conditions.
Should read the conditions in too, if you could, please.
Absolutely. That on-site parking is provided consistent with the submitted site plan. Access to the parking area in the rear yard is maintained during operational hours. That the off-street parking area is maintained to minimize the carrying of dirt or foreign matter onto 102nd Avenue.
Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor? That one's carried. The only other thing we have on our agenda, I believe, is the committee member appointment. There has been an application for a board member. How many members are we down right now?
So a bit of an update, both Rick and Roger, their appointments expired at the end of last month. And Rick has indicated that he's not interested in serving another term, so
Okay.
he is done. And Roger, he's willing to continue to serve. However, the MPC bylaw, it allows a non-resident member on the committee if the person has a substantial connection to the community, and that's a decision that council has to make. Previously, Roger was approved on the basis that he was the head of Mercer, and that obviously is a significant connection for Peace River. As he's no longer in that position,
Right.
that connection may not exist. So that whether he is actually eligible to be on the MPC is an open
So that's
question.
not a decision we'll make here.
The MPC could make a recommendation to council, but the MPC can't appoint members to the committee. So Roger is willing to continue to sit. So the MPC could have a discussion about whether you think that that criteria is met. But other than that, if it's not met, then he's not eligible to be a continuing member of the MPC. So that would put us down 3, and we do have this one application before us. So that puts us back down only to 2. We have let our communications person know that we need to do a bit more aggressive and splashy of a campaign to try and get a few more people to put their names forward to be members. And
I
also,
think our photos would be really great.
well, once communications person is back in the office, he's on here this week. We could probably arrange photos.
That's a stretch. Hey, whatever. I don't hear you guys with any ideas. So.
I guess my concern is setting a bit of a precedent,
Yeah.
you know, because I believe in the past we've had people that did not live in the community that had applied, and we decided that probably wasn't the best option. I mean, Roger's done a good enough job. I don't think that there's any problem there, and he's certainly knowledgeable, but yeah, I would be a little concerned about setting precedent, so. I think we'll leave it up to council to decide and go with their decision. Would be my take. Anybody else?
I just think your reasons for coming in most times should be your reasons for staying on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And again, if you're, let's say you had a person who was, I don't know, employed in town and they were on the MPC and they were no longer working, but let's say they were retired. Well, they still have the same ties to the community they had prior. So I'm not sure that's it, but when I think you have somebody who's outside and no longer fulfilling the requirement and not, again, same thing, nothing, no criticism of the individual at all. But the connection that was there at the beginning is not there at the end, or
Right.
would not be there if we did it again. So I agree with you, we just let council or whoever make that call, or communications, get applicants.
Puts us in a spot, potentially.
It means that we can have two members not attend and achieve quorum. If this other person whose application is before you is appointed. Otherwise, we can only have one person, like as it was with this meeting. So we have received one application from Yemi, is how the person goes by on a day-to-day basis. This is based on our new web form submission, so formatting is based on what's coming off of the website. But he's put his name forward for both the MPC and potentially the SDAB. You can only be on one of those two boards, can't sit on both. And Yemi has been a resident of the town for 6 years. You can read what he's put down for his interest in his professional background. I will say I do think he's underselling his professional background.
Yeah.
As he has worked as a planner in the municipal field before. So that's not really coming across, but so if the MPC feels comfortable with his application, then we would ask for a motion to recommend to council his appointment, and we would bring that forward at the next council meeting.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just wondering, I'm curious, what is he personally employed at, or is he, or do we know? Or does that matter?
He used to work at MMSA.
Yeah.
As a planner. Then he worked with City of Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
As their subdivision planner. And now he's working with Massa as their project manager.
Okay. Well, we can, any discussion, any issues? No, yeah.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Then I would entertain a motion that we recommend, that the, town council accept the application. And add a new member to the committee.
I'll make a motion to put forth this for council license. Recommendation. All. Okay.
All in favor? Carry. The only other information that we have on the agenda is our development reports. Most of those are ongoing, I believe, right? There's nothing really new in that package that we haven't already seen, I don't think.
No, just these are a combination of things that are under the MPC's jurisdiction, but also ones that are under the development authorities. So some haven't come here, but just keeping everybody appraised of.
Any
Great.
questions or comments on?
See, someone's interested in lots downtown, so that's pretty cool.
Say more we would. Yes, it is. It's encouraging.
Okay, well, if there's no further discussion, you can call adjournment at 4:36.
Thank you.